Always a pleasure. And good morning and welcome to Sunday Morning Yoga Church. It's September, yay! And we are coming around the bend towards the autumn equinox, and certainly by far my favorite time of year, I believe, is the fall. And with that, we are going to begin shifting our practices towards a more vata pacifying sequence, vata pacifying practice. And today that means we're going to go extremely slow. We're going to stay in our shapes for 3 to 5 breaths. So we're not going to like fly through the flow. It's going to be a vinyasa practice, but it's going to be slow and deliberate, which will counter the turbulent, windy, erratic energies of vata that are swirling all around us now as we go through the shift in seasons. You don't need any props. If you want to block on standby, great, have it. Otherwise, I think we're good to go. I'd like to begin seated. So if you're comfortable sitting on your tush on the mat, great. Perhaps in a cross-legged position, great. If that doesn't suit you, your knees, ankles, hips, or low back, then sit up on a chair, get onto a cushion or an ottoman. And when you get on the floor, like I said, no props are necessary today, but if you'd like to put a blanket or a little pillow under your butt to give your pelvis a little height, go for it. Once you do get to the floor and you get your legs positioned in a way that's good for you, I want you to stretch your arms out, take your peace fingers and place your peace fingers on the floor out to the sides. And just a gentle but firm, if that's possible, a gentle but firm connection of your peace fingers to the floor. Close your eyes and begin to let your breath settle. Whatever excitement has been happening in your world this morning or this weekend, let everything begin to settle, the breath settle, the prana settle. Invite your body to settle. Draw your awareness into the parts and pieces of you that are in touch with the floor, what we could call the earth element, your sit bones or legs, ankles, or feet, the tips of your index and middle fingers. As the breath begins to settle and drop into just a sweet, steady rhythm, lift up through your spine, creating a longer spine, maybe a stronger back. And as the spine elevates, lifting up out of the basin of the pelvis, drop your shoulder blades down, maybe 1/4 of an inch if possible. If you could see yourself from the side, bring your ears over your shoulders over your hips, and fine tune the tilt of your jaw so that your chin is parallel to the earth. Beautiful. And take 3 more breaths. And these next 3 breaths, let them be a bit more deliberate, really following the in-breath as it pulls in through your nose. Maybe a slight pause at the top and then a slow, deliberate exhale. And 2 more breaths. Good. And keeping your left hand where it is, your left arm out to the left, just sweep your right arm up, reach it up over your ear and side bend to the left. And at this point, maybe your whole left hand comes onto the floor. I want you to draw your ribs, your right ribs up slightly. You can open your eyes now. Good. We're going to take the right hand to the back of our head and keep the elbow lifted away from the ear. Breathe in and maybe turn your sternum a little more to your ceiling, to the sky. And as you breathe out, draw your right elbow just out to the side until it's parallel to the floor. You're looking down towards your left hand. And then 2 more times as you breathe in, roll your ribs and your sternum up towards the ceiling and look up. And when you breathe out, just bring your right elbow parallel to the floor and look down. So stay anchored in your right sitting bone. Let's do this one more time. Roll up as you breathe in. And then it's just a real subtle curl down as you exhale. Look to your left hand. Pause here. Drop a little more of your weight into your right sitting bone. And get a felt sense of the tissues around the back ribs beginning to open up and stretch. Good. And then I'm going to have you take your right arm straight up to the ceiling and pull yourself upright. Bring your left arm with you. And now take your right hand to the floor. And here we go, other side. We're going to start just holding on to this side bend. Imagine there's a 10-pound sandbag over your upper left thigh, like right at the head of the femur. Keeping the pelvis rooted, grounded. Good. Now you're going to take your left hand to the back of your head. Use an in-breath to lift your sternum up just a skosh. Culinary term, skosh. And then as you exhale, left elbow comes parallel to the floor as you look to your right hand. Good. And then 2 more times. Really nice coiling of the thoracic spine. The ribs and the surrounding tissues, the fascia. Good. One more time, open up. And then we're going to turn and look to the floor. Hold this here for a couple of breaths. Lean into your left hip. Imagine that you could wrap your left ribs around towards your right shoulder. Good. And take your left arm up. Good. And you can look straight ahead and pull yourself upright, both arms up. Good. And bring your palms together and your hands down to your heart. We're going to pause so that if you're sitting cross-legged, change the cross of your legs. Unpack, repack. Good. And then palms together, soft clasp of your fingers, figure eights with your wrists, and go the other direction. And then spin your palms forward and take your palms up. Reach up through the mound of your index fingers. And draw your pinkies back. Good. Now separate your hands, take your arms out parallel to the floor, twist to the left. And just see how far you can twist just with the muscles of your trunk doing the work. Then right hand goes to your left leg, left hand can come to the floor behind you. And if it feels good, you can give yourself a little extra assist as you twist a little deeper to the left. Not going for any world records here, just exploring the movement of the spine, or lack of, this morning. And from here, I would invite you to turn your head to the right, look over your right shoulder. And as you do that, you can inch your left fingertips behind your back, just another fraction, finding maybe a bit of a deeper stretch through the front of the left shoulder, maybe along the neck. Good. Now lift your arms up so they're parallel to the earth once again. Good. And then slowly unwind. Good. Bring your palms together at your heart and clasp your fingers together once again in a way that feels awkward. And here we go, more figure eights. I don't know if you can hear my wrist, but they sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies. Go the other way. Does anybody eat those anymore? I don't know. Spin your palms forward. Take arms up. And reach up through the heel of your right hand. Good. And then reach up with a little more power through the heel of your left hand. Good. And then evenly through both arms. You're going to separate your hands, arms out parallel to the floor. Give yourself a turn to the right. Good. Notice how this side may differ from the previous side. And once you've turned as far as your muscular body will allow, then left hand to the right leg, right hand to the floor behind you, and you can assist yourself a little deeper. Turn your head to the left, look over your left shoulder. Nice. Good. Lift your arms and unwind back through center. Fingertips to your shoulders. Elbow circles 3 times in one direction, as big or small as you like. 3 times in the other direction. Our slow, deliberate flow today is going to focus on the shoulders and the hips. If you hadn't noticed, the shoulders are definitely a big player. Bring your arms down. Good. Let your shoulders roll back a few times, alternating right and left. Great. Come on to your hands and your knees. Tabletop. We'll spend just a few moments on hands and knees, transitioning our way to the vinyasa practice to come. So once you get yourselves onto hands and knees, we're going to start with our scalp pulls, where when you inhale, draw the shoulder blades in towards your spine, and then exhale, pull the scapula away from your spine. Try to keep your low back and your lumbar out of the equation. So just isolating this movement, the gliding movement of the scapula, coming in and pulling apart. And do that maybe 3 or 4 more times. Use your breath, inhaling to pull the scaps in, retracting, and exhaling to pull the scaps away from one another. Great. Come to neutral. And then we'll move with the breath a bit more deliberately. As you inhale, find the cow of cat-cow, that arch. Find the quality of the back bend as you look forward. When you exhale, drop your hips to your heels for child's pose, balasana. Let the air just seep out of your nose, seep out of the lungs, and then use the power of the in-breath to lift you into staff position, bringing shoulders over wrists, knees up off the floor, strong through the trunk. Downward dog as you exhale. Very nice. Pause in dog pose for just another beat or 2. Check in with your shoulders, your arms. Draw the deltoids away from your head and your neck. Very nice. Good, Delinda. And then let's do that little flow twice more. Come to your knees on an in-breath. Articulating your spine from your low back all the way up to the cervical spine. And then pose of a child on the exhale, as though you could compress your lungs to your thighs in a way that helps you empty, empty, empty. And then you'll come forward to staff, breathing in. Feeling the quadriceps engage, the abdominal muscles engage, the shoulders engage, and then hinging at your hip crease for downward facing dog on the exhale. Taking the sit bones high, taking the femur bones back. We'll take an extra breath in downward dog. exploring both the strength and the suppleness in your shoulder girdle. And then one more time, coming to knees as you inhale. Good, beautiful. Hello, good morning. And then pose of a child as you exhale, settling the hips to the heels, inviting the spine to be long. And keeping that length in the spine, draw yourself forward to staff. From your shoulders to your heels, a strong straight line of energy. And then lifting from the sit bones and the tailbone up into downward facing dog. Allowing the heart to make its way in the direction of the thighs. Arms framing the ears and the face. Good. You're staying in downward dog for a couple of extra breaths if you want to march your heels or take your hips or heels from side to side. Do what feels organically delightful to you on this day. Always monitoring your breath. Deep and steady, deep and deliberate. Good. And then taking small steps, making this somewhat like a moving meditation. Walk your feet forward until your feet come up to your hands and you're at the top of your mat. Dropping into a ragdoll shape, crossing forearms in front of your shins, opposite hands to opposite elbows. Open your mouth wide, stick your tongue out. Blah. And pull your tongue back in, close your mouth. Change the cross of your forearms. Softly shake your head no. Nod your head yes. Wonderful. Good. Release your fingertips towards the floor. Give your knees a little bend. Give them permission to hinge a bit. And then hook your thumbs. And when you take your next deep breath in, sweep your arms forward. Follow your fingertips with your eyes as you lift your arms up, straighten your legs. Maybe take your arms back a little bit till you're standing up tall. And then as you exhale, fold forward, take your arms behind your back, clasp your fingers together, and your knuckles slide up and over your head. Great. We're going to stay for another breath. Knees can be soft. Good. And now when you breathe in, I'm going to have you separate your hands, take your arms out to the sides like a T, bend deeply into your knees and your hips, coming into a very low chair pose, and then take your arms forward, clasping your fingers together. So it's like you're a little 5-year-old learning how to downhill ski. If you see those kids on the side in the mountains, they're just like little bullets. Go deep, deep, deep in the hips, deep in the knees. Take another breath. As you exhale, bring your hands behind your ankles and begin to straighten your legs just until you feel your belly move away from your thighs. So the goal here, if there could be a goal in yoga, which I know there shouldn't be a goal in yoga, we should be without goals, but the idea here is to keep the thigh-belly connection. So allow the knees to bend as deeply as need be. See what I did there? And hands remain behind your ankles. Now you can start to hide your elbows behind your legs as well. Good. Excellent. Keeping your hands to your ankles, but moving them around to the front of your ankles. Inhale and come halfway up. Good. And then when you exhale, fingertips to the floor, your right foot's going to step back and your right knee will come down. We can settle into something that is familiar. a low lunge. You can keep your left hand to the outside of your foot or bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot. Either way, we're going to stay here for a couple more breaths. So hand placement is up to you. Experiment with keeping the right toes tucked under or lengthening the toes down onto the mat. Good, and I will have you tuck the right toes under if they're not. Lift your right knee up and let's pause. Push back through the inner right heel. Notice if you're tempted to swing the heel out to the right or rest into your right pinky toe. Really lengthen the inseam of the right leg. Inhale deeply. And you're going to step back to downward dog as you exhale. Woo! Now, here are your options. You can hang in dog pose. You can drop down to child's pose or glide forward to staff. And then slowly lower yourself down to the mat, knees or no knees, your call. And once you get to the floor, come up into a low cobra. Good, keeping the feet down, the glutes engaged, nice. And then downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. And I'm going to have you dip your left knee just right above the floor. Not quite hitting the floor, but just right just above the floor. Look forward. And then step your left foot forward next to your right foot. Boom. And then here we go again. I want you to hook your thumbs, soft knees. Inhale, sweep the arms forward. And let that be the impetus to stretch you upright. Maybe take the arms back a little back bend. Exhale, fold in half, bring your arms behind your back as you clasp your fingers together. Draw your knuckles towards the wall beyond your head. And as the knuckles move towards the wall beyond your head, push your femur bones to the wall beyond the back of your mat. Good, now as you inhale, take your arms out like a T, bend deeply, flex deeply into your knees and hips, and then bring your arms forward, clasp your fingers together, and squat low. Take a breath in. And then on the exhale, sweep your hands behind your ankles, draw your elbows behind your legs as best you can, and then start to slowly straighten the legs just until you feel your belly move away from the thighs, and then pause there so you can keep that belly to thigh connection. Regardless of how deeply the knees are flexed, belly to thighs. Place your hands at the front of your ankles and inhale, come halfway up. Draw your sternum away from your legs. Exhale, fingertips to the floor. You're going to take your left foot back, left knee comes down. Good, and we're going to hang loose in this low lunge. So place your hands where you like them. Right hand to the inside of the right foot or the outside. I'm not going to be particular. Good. Now, how about lifting the right knee up? Oh, left knee. Sorry. How about lifting the left knee? The back knee, whatever that is. How about lifting the back knee up? And imagine that you could lengthen the inseam of your back leg, pressing through the mound of the big toe and the inner heel. Excellent. And then you're going to step back to downward dog. Cautiously and deliberately. Very nice. And then here you have options. Stay put, child's pose is an option, or come forward to staff. Strong, strong, strong through the shoulders and your trunk. Lower yourself down to the floor, on or off your knees. Good. Come up into a cobra. Keep it low, or maybe just a fraction higher if you'd like. I want you to engage your glutes. And then make your way to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Excellent. Check in with your shoulders, wrapping your deltoids away from your head and your neck, finding that external rotation. Excellent. You're going to step your left foot forward, way up to your left hand, and allow your right knee to dip just right above the mat. Good. Excellent. And then step right foot forward next to left foot. Good. And we're going to repeat the intro. I want you to bend your knees, hook your thumbs. As you inhale, sweep your arms forward and up. And that action is what unpacks your joints. Lean back a little if that's okay on your back. And then exhale, fold forward, bring your arms behind your back. Stay put for an extra breath or two. Enjoying that big stretch along the front of the chest. Be dynamic with your arms, lifting up, 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 pulling your shoulders away from your ears. Good. And then here we go into our deep squat. Arms come out like a T, go low in the hips, and then sweep arms forward. And maybe come down a little lower as you find that 50-50 balance between the hips and the shoulders, the hips and the arms, the hips and the head. Good, 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 good. Take another breath in. And when you exhale, you're ready to bring your hands behind your ankles. See if you can tuck your elbows behind your legs and just hug yourself deeply. Good. Belly to thighs. Just wrap your arms around the back of your legs, making contact, connection. Good. Bring your hands to the front of your ankles, and as you inhale, come up halfway. Maybe the legs go straighter, maybe the arms go straight, and then fold forward as you exhale. Take your right foot back, spin your right heel down. We're going to do 2 side lunges, starting into the right knee and the right hip. So turn your left toes in. See your right foot back. When you drop into your right knee, right hip, then you're going to migrate your way across the midline, flexing into your left knee, left hip. These lateral lunges, and then one more time from side to side, coming into the right knee and hip, and slowly gliding over to the left knee, left hip, and we'll all meet here and pause. Yeah, terrific. Good. Sweet opening through the inseam of the right leg. Okie dokie. Now, at this point, I'm gonna have you make a quarter turn to the right. Turn your right toes to the top of your mat. Turn your left toes in about 45 degrees. Set your right, where are we? Set your, I'm sorry, hang on. Mulligan, redo. We're in the left knee, yeah? Make a quarter turn to the left. I think I completely flubbed that up. I want you to face the top of your mat. So left knee, left foot is in front, right foot is behind you, turning in about 45 degrees, left elbow on top of left knee. Good, we're coming into a variation of side angle pose. As you roll your right shoulder back, I want you to bring your right hand behind your back. Right elbow bends. Roll your ribs to the right, turn your sternum to the right. Good. Now a couple of options. We're going to stay for a few breaths so you can experiment. You can stay right where you are with your right hand to your low back or your sacrum. Or sweep your right hand around towards your left leg. Now this could offer you the option to spin your left hand towards your hip, and your left hand can grab a hold of your right wrist. There's a lot of variables there, right? I mean, there's the proportion of arm length to torso length. Your shoulder might not be into this at all. And if that's the case, don't sweat it. Don't force it. And keep rolling right shoulder back, whatever arm variation you choose to take. We're going to take one more breath. Now unpack your right arm, take your right arm up. Woo! Sweep your right arm over your right ear, and then slowly both hands to the floor. Come up onto the ball of your back foot and step back to downward facing dog. Okay, remember your choices. Maybe stay put or come forward and find your little flow, lowering down to the mat. Maybe coming up into a higher back bend, higher cobra, or maybe upward dog if that's part of your practice. And then we're all going to meet in downward facing dog. Good. Beautiful. And step your right foot forward. Keep your back knee lifted. And when you breathe in, look forward. Draw your shoulders back. Find that little bit of a back bend through your upper back as you look forward. And then when you exhale, step left foot forward. Good. And here we go with our intro again. Thumbs hook, arms come forward and up. Reaching up, maybe going back a little. Ooh, and then exhale, fold in half, arms behind your back. Ooh. Shake your head. Good. And then release your arms straight out parallel to the floor as you sink into your knees and hips, coming into this deep, deep, deep squat. And then arms come forward. Maybe you go a little lower. Place your hands behind your ankles. Belly stays glued to thighs as you start to straighten your legs. Bring your hands to the front of your ankles and look forward. Bring your shoulders away from your ears. Great. Exhale, fingertips to the floor. Take your left foot back, spin your left heel down. 2 lateral lunges. Let's go into the left knee and the left hip first. Very nice. Good. Easy does it. Good flow. Then come into your right knee, right hip. Yeah, buddy. Good. One more time. Left knee. And then when you get into your right knee, we'll stay there for a couple of breaths. One of the things about the vata dosha is it's very erratic. If you think about wind, it's very erratic, going in all different directions, turning around at the drop of a hat. And so cultivating a more deliberate practice throughout the fall and early winter is a nice way to counter that in your asana practice. So now we're going to take a quarter turn to the right, turn your right toes forward. Bring your left toes in about 45 degrees. And here we go for that Parsha Konasana, side angle. Right elbow to your right knee. And you can bring your left hand to your waist first and then start to roll your left shoulder back, start to open your chest. to the left. And then you can experiment with the left arm. Bring the left arm behind your back as you bend your elbow. Maybe the left hand just wants to hang out at the sacrum or the right butt cheek for a while. Maybe the left hand wants to wrap around towards the right leg. Maybe the right hand wants to spin in towards the hips. And the right hand might take a hold of the left wrist. You can experiment with these opportunities, whatever your body will offer for you today. But ultimately, we want to take that left shoulder back. Personally, I like to look down to the floor. Good, stay deep in that right hip. And keep that left leg fired up. Now take your left arm straight up. Woo, releasing the shoulder carefully. And then the left arm over the left ear. Parsva Konasana. And then hands to the floor. Woo, come onto the ball of your back foot. Find your way to downward dog. Holy smokes. Come forward to staff if you choose. And then lower down to the mat if you choose. You can stay in dog pose or come to child's pose. Good, lift up into a back bend. Maybe cobra, up dog. Maybe locust pose. And then downward facing dog. Okay, you're doing great. We have one more of these slow, deliberate standing sequences to go, and then we're going to hit the floor. Gather your breath. Take your left foot forward. And then when you find the inhale, look forward, shoulders back. And when you exhale, right foot comes forward next to the left. And here we go. Here's our intro again. Hook your thumbs, soft knees, reach the arms forward, stand up, look up, maybe go a little back into a back bend, your choice. And then fold forward, exhale, hands behind your back. Oh. Bring your hands behind your ankles. Oh, wait, sorry. Let's detour into our low squat. Take your arms out to the sides. Woo. And then arms forward. Let's hit that for a breath. Then, now we can bring hands behind the ankles, belly to thighs, as we straighten the legs a little bit. Bring your hands to the front of your ankles and lift your chest away from your thighs as you inhale. And then fingertips to the floor. You're going to step your right foot back. And we're going to prep for warrior one. So adjust your feet, your stance accordingly. Bring your hands to your waist and lift your trunk up. Good. I'm going to have you straighten your left leg to begin. And with hands to your waist, turn your hips forward as best you can while keeping your right heel down and your back leg super strong. And then bring your right hand to your right butt cheek. And I want you to feel that that right butt cheek is like on, it's on, game on with the right butt cheek. It is engaged. Good. Now from here, bend your left knee and take your arms into a W. Okay, elbows are bent. You're drawing the tips of your scapula in towards your spine. Maybe look up. It's going to challenge your balance a little bit. Breathe in. Exhale, round your upper back and make an O with your arms out in front of you. Fingertips tap out in front of you, chin to chest. Upper back is rounding. And then inhale, W. Elbows bend. Take your sternum upward as you look up. And exhale, round your upper back, sweep your arms out in front with a bend to your elbows, like you're making an O. Good, one more time. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades in, elbows bend, looking up. And then exhale, a big round circle, like have your arms wrapped around a beach ball. Good, now fingertips to the floor. Come onto the ball of your back foot and set your back knee down. Bring your hands to your left knee, lift yourself up. But just take your right arm up. And let's turn to the left. Right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Good. You can keep your left hand where it is on your left thigh or bring your palms together. Good. And use that right elbow against the outside of your left knee or thigh as a little leverage to spin a little deeper. Look to the floor. If you've got your back toes tucked under, I want you to notice if you're dropping to the pinky side of the foot. Lift up, put some emphasis into the big toe. Wonderful. Now slowly unwrap yourself, bring your fingertips to the floor, and let's just take a full breath in and a slow, deliberate exhale. Breathing in, lift the right knee up, look forward, step forward when you breathe out. Oh, yeah. Okay, last one. Hook your thumbs, inhale, rise up. Good. Fold forward as you bring your arms behind your back, exhale. Good. And then a deep bend in the knees and the hips as you take your arms out parallel to the floor. And then arms come forward. Maybe go a little lower. And then bring your hands behind your ankles, belly to your thighs. Start to straighten your legs. Bring your hands to the front of your ankles, look forward. Nice and slow, and then bowing down once again. Left foot goes back, left heel comes down. We'll set up for Virabhadrasana 1. I like to have a little wider stance between my right heel and left heel. And then hands come to your waist, and you're gonna lift yourself up, straighten your right leg. And then we draw the left hip forward slightly. We keep the left heel down. Bring your left hand to your left glutes. See that they're fully engaged. And then here we go. You're going to bend deeply into your right knee, bending the elbows like a W. Let the elbows come down a little bit as you draw the tips of your shoulder blades deeper towards your spine. And then exhale. Wrap your arms around that big beach ball. Fingertips touch chin to chest. Good. 2 more times. Inhale, making a W with the arms. We're spelling the word wow, by the way. Wow. And exhale, rounding the upper back, rounding the shoulders, pulling the scapula apart from one another. One more time. Letting the elbows dip a little. Oh, head up, look up. And exhale, round. Bring your arms around the big ball, fingertips touch. And then relax your shoulders as you bring your hands to the floor. Come onto the ball of your back foot and bring your left knee down. Good. Stack your hands on top of your right knee so you can lift your chest. And then just the left arm goes up. Get as long as you can from your outer left knee to your left pinky finger, and then we'll twist to the right. Left elbow to the outside of your right knee. And then do what is appropriate for your hands. Beautiful, everyone. Let your spine unwind. Bring your fingertips to the floor and take a full, rich inhale. And a slow, slow exhale. And then look forward as you breathe in. Bring your back knee up. And you're going to step forward as you exhale. Slide your hands to your shins. Come halfway up as you breathe in. Looking forward. And then exhale, fingertips to the floor. I'm going to have you come into a deep, deep squat. Lift your heels, and then have a seat on your bum for Baddha Konasana. So that means sitting on the bum, knees are bent, feet on the floor, and steps of the feet together. And then drop your knees out to the sides. Good. You can bring your hands to your shins or your ankles or wrap them around your toes. And I'm not concerned with how close or far your heels are in relationship to your pelvic floor. I want you to be in a diamond shape that feels good. And then as you hold on to your shins or your feet, lift your sternum and chin parallel to the floor. Close your eyes. Let your breath begin to slow down. Let your prana begin to settle. And then if it suits you, on an exhale, you can fold forward, bringing your heart, your sternum out towards or beyond your toes. Toggle your mandible from side to side a few times, unhinging the TMJ. And slowly elevate yourself, coming up to a more vertical spine. And then one hand behind each knee or underneath each knee. Pull your knees back together. And I want you to sit in a shape that's comfortable for your legs and your hips, your low back. We're going to do just a little bit of breathing and then come down to the floor. You can get up onto a chair or onto a cushion if you'd like. Very nice. Good. Great. And once everybody has a seat, then you're going to bring your right hand up in front of your nose. Place the pad of your thumb and ring finger at the bridge of your nose. Left hand can rest on your lap and close your eyes. And we'll begin together, but we might end in a different at a different time. But let's begin by exhaling whatever you have on board. We'll take a breath in together. And seal your right nostril, exhale from the left. Inhale left. And exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Good, so we're starting round 2, inhaling left. Exhaling right. Inhale right. And exhale left starts round 3. Breathe in left. Breathe out right. Breathe in right. And these last 2 rounds, you're on your own, exhaling left. As you make your way towards the finish, and please don't rush, you'll finish with an exhale from your left nostril. At which time you'll bring your hand down. Remain with your eyes closed. Without disturbing the prana, roll onto your back and pull your knees to your chest. And once you get onto your back with your knees to your chest, I'm going to have you take your peace fingers and wrap them around your big toes. And then extend your legs up. If the knees bend, don't worry about it. Just take your legs up. Hug your legs together. Hug the inner thighs together. Good. Draw your toes towards your head or slightly beyond. Good. Big stretch through the posterior line of the body. Very nice. Good. Release your big toes. Bring your knees to your chest. And then slowly extend your legs down onto the mat. Finding the Shavasana shape that suits you on this September morn. Let the breath settle, the prana settle, and the body, the heart, and the mind all settle. How about a deeper breath in this next round? And a long lasting exhale, waking up your toes and your fingers. And stretch your arms in any direction or shape that your space allows. Point your toes. And then prepare to lift yourself into a sitting position. You can draw your knees to your chest. I like to roll over to one side and then slowly head comes up last. Great. Ah, good. Thanks for practicing with me this morning. Let's take your palms together and bring the base of your thumbs to your forehead. Steady and deliberate mind and thinking. And bring fingertips down towards the lips, steady and deliberate with our breath and our speech. And place your hands to your heart, steady and deliberate in our body and always in our heart. Terrific. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And a nice practice to have with you today.